I welcome into our studio here in Blaine another edition of Sports Den, and it is a great time of year to be following high school sports. We saw that USA-Canada rivalry take center stage kind of on the world scene over the weekend. Love that USA-Canada game on Saturday. We've got the best time of year for hockey in the best place for hockey, the great state of Minnesota, as the girls' high school tournament starts Wednesday at the X. We will catch you up on all the action for our area schools, including that run to the state tournament for Centennial Spring Lake Park. The Cougars will be in that competition starting this Thursday at the Xcel Energy Arena. We'll also catch you up on the boys high school playoffs. Section competition gets underway this coming week, and we'll have the state tournament to follow thereafter. We've really got a loaded show. Boys hockey, wrestling section competition, gymnastics results, including a couple of Blaine and Centennial state qualifiers to talk about, and we'll have adapted floor hockey highlights from Centennial Spring Lake Park to close the show. But let's get right into that monster run for third-ranked Centennial Spring Lake Park, the top seed in the 5AA tournament, taking on North Wright County in Roseville in the section semifinals. 3:11 into the game, a scramble out front, and sophomore Maddie Wolter gets her hands dirty for the game's opening goal, 1-0 Cougars. Still first period, Katie Ball walks it out front, another loose puck, and Mia Such there this time tucks home the rebound. It would start a big night for the freshman. Cougars keep putting traffic out front. Kate Lemke has trouble finding the puck, and Such ecstatic, her second goal of the game, and a Superwoman celebration to boot. North Wright County with a response early into the second. Charlotte Heckendorf scores, but CSLP on a mission. Such, the shooter in form, a nasty wrister, a hat trick, and we're not even halfway through this one. Lager's shot saved here, but a rebound given up. You guessed it, Mia Such again, her fourth goal of the game. And the Cougars added a sixth for good measure. Josie Kelsenberg to Lillian Renslow, 6-1, and the Cougars rolled to the section final.
What was your mentality? Because this is a North Wright County team that really held you in check offensively last time. So what was the game plan going in tonight?
I think our game plan was just to show up. Last time we played them, we were all sick, so being healthy was really good for us, and we just wanted to give it our all and not lose and go play Friday.
And you yourself, were you just trying to be that net front presence tonight? How did you end up getting those 4 goals?
Yeah, I feel like my line mates got really attached, like they were on them really quick, so I just escaped, gotten forgotten about, and just found the net.
What was the key to keeping them in check tonight offensively?
I think we knew they had a good goalie, so it was just like scrappy goals, getting shots on net, getting screens, just what we were kind of practice, just not a lot of pretty goals, just attacking the net, just simple things, honestly.
What is this team's mentality? Once again, in the finals, they made the finals last year and were upset as the top seed. What's the team's mentality? How's the attitude in the locker room going into this final?
I would say our attitude's really good. We're all very close to each other and just great friends. I would say just not giving up. Last year with Grove, we kind of got comfortable. So just 100% every single shift. It's not done until that last buzzer. So, yeah.
So the Cougars on Tuesday night taking care of the Riverhawks. You heard Bill Hupp mention it. That was a team that took Centennial SLP to overtime just 19 days previously on the road. It was a pretty dramatic come-from-behind win for the Cougars on the road. A 4-goal game for Mia Such. That's her second 4-goal performance this season and her third hat trick. She's now one of 19 girls players in the state with at least 30 goals on the season. What a year she's had. The 9th grader Tegan Coolinkamp with 4 assists. She has north of 40 apples on the season and leads the state in that category. And the Cougars punched their ticket Tuesday night to play in their 5th consecutive section final, which came against the 2-seed Maple Grove, a rematch of last year's section final where the Crimson overcame a 3-0 deficit to send the Cougars home empty-handed. Coolinkamp off the rush, beats sophomore netminder Bella Prosser, but it doesn't go. An unreal clearance at the goal line from sophomore defenseman Maddie Elfstrand, and it would keep it scoreless after 1. Cougars in the waning moments of a power play. Brooke Hewland roofs one. No good again. It's off the top of the crossbar and stays out, and Maple Grove dodges another bullet to keep this one scoreless. Still in the second, another CSLP power play. Grace Lager stuffs it home, and the sophomore makes it 1-0, 10-17 in the second. 20th of the season for Lager. Under 10 to go. Bucciaconi with the initial drive, and a loose puck. Mia Such again, just like Tuesday night. Right place, right time for the freshman. 2-0 Centennial, and the Crimson coming out in the third with some push. Kelsey Olson, a great chance, but a big-time pad save for the netminder Kyle Weiland. Crimson pressing late, down by 2. Lager with a takeaway. Such with her second goal of the night, her 8th of the section playoffs, and 32 goals in the season. Centennial Spring Lake Park seal it, their 3rd trip to state in the last 5 years.
You've caught fire, especially with the helpers. You've got 11 assists in 3 games. Talk about your game so far throughout this tournament, which is going to continue into St. Paul next week.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be able to do it without my line mates. Mia scores on literally every pass I give her, so does Grace Lager, so it definitely helps when you play with teammates who can score on every pass.
Obviously, this is a team you're really familiar with Maple Grove. You played them twice close. This was close as well. You knew that last year you lost to this team to go to the state tournament. What was the motivation to come in tonight?
Yeah, I think we all had one goal in mind, and we all believed in each other, and I think we got the job done.
What did you do tonight that made you feel so comfortable against this team?
I think not getting too high or not too low in emotions really helps me stay calm and just to get through the game.
Does it help when you see a team like this 3 times and are able to maybe find a comfort zone? You kind of know what they're going to do the 3rd time around?
Yes, for sure. I know a lot of these girls during off season as well, so just knowing their game is very helpful.
Who's ready to go to St. Paul next week?
All right, so this terrific season for the Cougars continues. Here's how it shook out in the Section 5 AA tournament. 5th straight season and the 6th time in the last 7 years the Crimson and the Cougars have met up and played for the 5 AA title. What a rivalry. Each team has 3 wins over the last 7 years in that head-to-head matchup. The Cougars avenge last year's 6-3 defeat, where the Crimson poured in 6 unanswered to end it. CSLP, their 3rd trip to state in the last 5 years, and head coach Sean Moline has been on the bench now in 3 of the 6 trips to state in program history in his 5 years at the helm. Here's how the state tournament bracket shakes out. The Cougars getting the 2 seed behind the reigning state champions Edina, so they will be on the opposite side of the bracket of the Hornets. It's the first year the State High School League at both the girls and boys hockey tournaments will be seeding 1 through 8. So Centennial, as this 2 seed, will face off against the 7-seeded Rosemount Irish. That's Thursday morning at 11 a.m. to kick off the Class AA tournament. On the girls' side, Centennial have seen Rosemount this year. They beat them 3-1 back in November in Circle Pines. The Cougars have won 9 straight heading into the state tournament. They're 26-2. They're taking on an experienced Irish squad who have a record of 21-7. It's the 3rd consecutive trip to state for Rosemount. CSLP have seen all 3 of those teams on their side of the bracket. They're 3-0 combined against Hill Murray, Andover, and Rosemount on the season. The boys' state hockey tournament will be coming up next, and we're into the section playoffs. The bracket released over the weekend. All 3 of our North Metro TV area schools play in Class 5 AA, that section. All 3 of them will be playing on the road to try to find their way towards the state tournament. The quarterfinals and play-in games will be at high seeds hosting. The semifinals and the final coming up, as you see, at Furniture and Things in Elk River. Blaine are the 5 seed. They're 16-9, a near identical record to 15-9-1 Totino Grace. The Eagles have the edge in the seeding because they beat Blaine 5-4 in a tight game end of January at Fogarty. The 6 seed Centennial, 9-16. I think that's a game to watch for a potential upset. Champlain Park have got one of the best players in the state committed to Wisconsin. They're 16-9. The Cougars are 0-2 with a couple of lopsided losses to the Rebels this year, but they've been playing better hockey, 5-4 in their last 9 following a 4-12 start, and I don't care about any of the stats that Easton Cody has. That dude carried Centennial to the state tournament with goaltending last year and he could heat up and do it again for an upset or two in this 5AA tournament. 7 seed Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids. They're 11-14 in their first year as a co-op. They've got the 2 seed Maple Grove. The Catbirds lost to the Crimson in a 3-1 game in December. And the Crimson, they're still a good team, but down to their usual standard at 15-9-1 this year. Rogers, the favorite, they're ranked 5th in the state and trying to get over the hump to the state tournament for the first time in school history. So boys hockey, that's a wrap on that. We'll head to boys hoops and catch you up on the Northwest Suburban Conference standings. 6th ranked Champlain Park are the heavy hitters atop the league. They have just 1 conference loss on the season. They've won 12 in a row since a loss to Maple Grove. They just thumped the Crimson 73-52 on Friday to get revenge for a January 9th defeat up in the Grove. Blaine continue their strong rebound season here under first-year head coach Bernie Ward. They're in 5th place in the conference. They've won back-to-back games now on the road and are above 500 in the Northwest Suburban. And in a weak section in 7-4A, they right now project as a 2 seed, only behind Anoka as we look ahead of those section playoffs. Spring Lake Park are down in 7th. They've dropped 3 of their last 4 in the conference after a blowout loss at Park Center on Thursday night. Centennial down in 9th. They did just keep it close within 10 points of a tough Champlain Park team on the road last Thursday, but they have still dropped 3 consecutive Northwest Suburban Conference games, and they sit down in 9th. So Blaine have won 3 straight overall. We mentioned their back-to-back conference wins. They've got 2 Tuesday dates coming up the next 2 weeks with the Elk River Elks, who are just 5-17 in the season and only 3-9 in the league. They'll have a stout Maple Grove team in between on their schedule on Friday. Blaine ending the regular season next week, Thursday, against Cambridge Isani. Centennial trying to snap a 4-game skid. They've got 6-16 Coon Rapids on the docket coming up tomorrow. That's a big game. It's the last section game for Centennial, who are in 7-4A with the Bengals. We mentioned Blaine are probably a 2 seed. Centennial, they probably need that win against Coon Rapids to cement a 4 seed in the section, which would mean a first-round home game. The Cougars are 5-3 against the section. That'll be their final game against that group this year. Spring Lake Park looking like a probable 5 seed right now, meaning they would play on the road in Section 5 4A. They've got Rogers coming up on Tuesday in their only game this week for the Panthers. Flipping it over to the girls' hoop side in the Northwest Suburban, you've got Maple Grove, the #1 ranked team in the state, still undefeated in the conference up at the top. Elk River, another heavy hitter, having a terrific season. Blaine in 5th place, have won 3 of their last 4 in the conference. They're in a really tough section that includes Anoka, Andover, and Centennial, who you all see in the conference right now. And Blaine right now project as a probable road team in that group. 8th place, there's Spring Lake Park, 8-16 overall and just 6-10 in the league. But in a weak Section 5, they might right now would be a 3 seed behind Maple Grove and Mounds View, meaning they'll have a section playoff game. Centennial, we talked about it last week, had to forfeit their first 15 games of the year. Their readjusted record now to 5-18 overall. How do you seed the Cougars? That's a big question for them. They have been playing some pretty good basketball since they had to wash out those first 15 games of the year. Here's what's coming up in the final week of the regular season in girls basketball. Last couple weeks anyway, Blaine have won 3 straight overall. They're at Elk River on Tuesday, their final game of the regular season against #1 ranked Maple Grove at Blaine High School to end the regular season on Friday. Centennial, a busy 3 games in 4 days, starts tomorrow. Again, by the quality results formula, Centennial will be a 4 seed right now, but it really is a head scratcher on how other coaches are going to vote in the seeding meeting, with Centennial having to forfeit those first handful of games to begin the year. Spring Lake Park, 2 games on the road for them to end the year. It'll be 11-13. Rogers coming up on Tuesday. 15-7 record for Totino Grace as they end their regular season on Friday. Heading over to the mat as we take a look at wrestling results from Section 7 in Class 3A. The Bengals, the 7 seed in this group, fell to the 2 seed Cambridge Isani on Friday, 38-20. Senior Landon Lorch and junior Zach Johnson Both ranked wrestlers in their respective weight classes, the 133 and the 145, came away with winning results, and they'll be ones to watch out for as Blaine sends their individual wrestlers to try to qualify for the individual state tournament next week. Elk River are the section champions for the first time in 3 years. Moving on to 4-3A, which was competed in Roseville on Friday. The 3-seed Centennial topping the hosts Roseville in the quarterfinals. 4-seed Irondale Spring Lake Park fell in the 4-5 matchup to White Bear Lake. It is the 8th trip to state in a row for the Stillwater Ponies, a powerhouse out in the East Metro. Junior Tyler Cook of Centennial, a name to watch as the number 9 ranked wrestler in the 215s for Centennial. And speaking of ranked wrestlers, we're talking about one of the best guys on the mat in the North Metro community. He's a senior at Spring Lake Park High School, Clayton Solberg, who right now ranks number 5 in the state in the 152-pound weight class. Danica Peterson out reporting for North Metro TV News with the story as Solberg was in contention for a milestone for Spring Lake Park this week.
Spring Lake Park wrestler Clayton Solberg has made history, breaking his high school's all-time wins record.
I think he's at 160 right now. Awesome to see records get broken.
Spring Lake Park has wrestled in a co-op with St. Anthony and Irondale since 2017. Solberg has now become the most winning wrestler at both Spring Lake Park and at Irondale.
It's great. You know, it's something I've been looking up to since I was in 7th grade. You know, we've got a banner over there that has the the record, and so it's pretty cool to finally achieve it and stay healthy all these years.
Solberg has been wrestling for 10 years and has been team captain for 3.
He's eager. That's one of the best things that you can look for as a coach. Started with the high school in 7th grade and was always hanging around, talking with us after practice, waiting for his parents to show up or making his parents come down to come get him. But always eager to learn, always got high energy, loves to mess around and loves to wrestle.
I like that it's individual sport. I like that it's only me who controls what happens on the mat, and you know, however hard I work is what I put into it is what I get out of it.
3-point takedown, Solberg.
Really good on his feet. That's something he developed over the last couple years in particular, is really getting good at in and out on his feet, and it's one of his specialties. So he's also chasing down a takedown record this year, beating my twin brother. He's only, I think, 7 takedowns away from breaking the single-season takedown record.
For Solberg, success isn't just about a physical skill. It's about mindset.
I think it's all mental. I think it's hard to get up in the morning and work out. It's hard to keep going when you're pushing yourself and in practice, to keep going. So I think it's more mental than it is physical.
Now that he holds the school record, Solberg isn't stopping. He's ready to push himself even further.
I want to win state. That's why I went down a weight class. I want to win state. I think I can. And
so it's just making sure that he's as confident as he can be coming into the end of the season, and seeing if we can't punch higher and see if we can't take a shot at the state title.
For North Metro TV News, Danica Peterson reporting.
And it really is that best time of year, as we said, the section playoffs going on, the state tournament for girls hockey. We want to move on from the mat, from wrestling, and talk about some gymnastics action we've got starting on Friday at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. The state tournament for girls gymnastics coming up. Here's the results in Section 7AA. That's the group occupied by both Centennial and Blaine high schools. The top 3 finishers at each section meet in the all-around competition automatically qualify for the state tournament coming up this weekend in St. Paul, plus the next 3 best finishers at each event. Forest Lake won the team competition in the section to go to state. Blaine finished 5th. Centennial right behind them at 6th are 2 local area state qualifiers individually. How about Michaela Osland of Centennial High School? She qualifies for state by finishing 2nd in the all-around competition, the winner in both the vault and the bars in the 7AA meet. And Grace Vassell, 1st in the floor competition, and also qualified for state by going 5th in the bars as well, too, where she will compete for the Bengals in that competition. Our last set of highlights here on the show coming your way from last Monday. Centennial Spring Lake Park adapted floor hockey taking on Anoka Hennepin, the Mustangs. right off the doorstep here to start the day. Tate Morris with the opening lamplighter for the Cougars. He made it 1-0 for Centennial Spring Lake Park. Still first period. Why is her name Pass if all she does is shoot? Abby Pass with the goal to make it 2-0. An elite Selly. I think she's done this before. Pass, whipping one on net here. Get to the crease, young man. Morris gobbles up another rebound for his second goal of the game. On to the second, Michael Glasecki, a junior, off the rush with a response for the Mustangs. Made it 6-2, cutting into the Centennial lead. Pass off the draw here for CSLP. You know the rest. Shoots and scores. Pass would finish with a 6-goal night. Celebrates with her team. Joe Johnson, look at this shot. Top shelf. JJ knows where the good cookies live, making it 8-2 for number 24. And Johnson would have a big late game finish. Scrapping around the net, finds another. And Johnson hits the one-arm Selly there. He put this one to bed late. His fourth there. The Cougars 14th. It finishes a 14-2 final in this one. All right, so hockey coming up at the X this week. Should be terrific. Again, we'll be watching right here at North Metro TV. Good luck to the Centennial Spring Lake Park Cougars as they compete in the state tournament yet again. And again, one of the favorites in the tournament could make a run all the way to Sunday's final. Should be fun to watch. It starts at the X on Thursday, and we'll be back next week right here on Sports Den to break it all down, plus start talking about the boys' high school state hockey tournament and more. Our thanks to Ted LaRue, Sam Nolan, A.V. Becker, and Rand Phil here with you in studio in Blaine. I'm Matt Dean signing out here for another episode of Sports Den.